I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. Before we start, can you tell me exactly what your job is at Online Retailer?
My technical title is Executive Vice President of Global Marketing and Distribution. That is just a fancy way of saying that I'm in charge of how we present and deliver our music and video content to the world.
Excellent. How long have you been at Online Retailer?
I'm pleased to say that I've been there since the very beginning, so that would make it almost 10 years.
And before that?
Before that, my title was Vice President of Marketing North America for Brick and Mortar Retailer. I was there off and on for about 12 years before coming on board with Online Retailer.
So you've been involved in music and entertainment for a long time, sales for a long time.
Oh yeah, I've been doing it for a while now, but it's been good. I wouldn't want to do anything else.
One of the primary reasons I want to talk to you with you is that I'm intrigued by your company's position regarding certain content that you're not willing to sell, namely in the area of pornography. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. When founder Naim first discussed his vision for the future of making music globally available online, the industry was right on the cusp of making downloadable video content available as well. It was during those first few conversations that he made it clear that if we ever did venture into online video sales and rentals, pornography would not be included in our catalog.
Wow, that's quite a departure from what most retailers do. Did you make that decision not to sell porn based on shareholder interest, profitability?
No, it wasn't any of those things. It was based solely on the core values of our company and founder. I'm not sure we considered any aspect of the issue other than building the company based on what we felt was right for us. Money was not our motivation.
But as one of the world's largest online retailers, how do you respond to critics that say that your decision not to sell pornography is an indirect form of censorship, that you are in effect preventing certain content from reaching the broadest market possible? Do they have a fair gripe?
Not at all. We are committed to not selling pornography as a matter of corporate philosophy. We have never said that we were against pornography or didn't want it sold elsewhere. We have simply made a decision that we would not sell it. People should feel free to create the art that they want and sell it however they can. We, as an online retailer, reserve the right to decide what products we want to sell based on how those products fit within our identity as a company.
So you're not making a moral judgment about pornography or people who sell it. You're just exercising your right to define your own brand by selling or not selling what best represents your philosophy as a company.
Precisely. We sell the content that represents us. Other retailers should do the same. We offer a wide variety of music and movies. We don't offer pornography. That does not mean that we expect anyone else to make those same choices.
Well, here's an interesting question then, and it involves some music that I purchased from your site earlier today. It's a song from artist name. He's listed among the top 100 artists. Well, pause as people. Top 100 artists downloaded within the last month. The song is called Be Snitches. I want to read some of the lyrics to you. Let me know if you recognize them. Then read the thing. Okay, you go.
I can't say that I have heard that before.
But I bought it from your site.
Well, we sell tens of millions of songs and videos. I'm not aware of them all.
Are you surprised by the lyrics?
Surprised? No. Turned off? Probably.
Not your musical taste?
Personally, no.
But it is in harmony with your corporate philosophy and culture?
I wouldn't say that.
Well, what would you say?
I would say that we sell a wide variety of music that appeals to a wide variety of people, and that not all of it is my musical preference.
Well, granted, it may not be your personal musical preference, but it is apparently not in conflict with your corporate philosophy or the culture that founder Naim wished to create. I mean, someone personally decided to sell it, right? I mean, companies don't really do anything. The people that run them do. Would you say that the culture of Online Retailer is in harmony with these lyrics? Do you endorse the execution of witnesses?
I don't know about that. What I can tell you is that any song that with that sort of content would have been labeled explicit on our site.
Why is that? To keep minors from purchasing it?
Yes, striving to keep adult content out of the hands of children is definitely in line with what we represent as a company.
Wouldn't pornography fall into the same category? I mean, isn't pornography considered adult content?
Perhaps for some retailers it would, but again, pornography, even if it is age-restricted, is just not in harmony with what we believe as a company.
But Gnaw That Effer's Dead does fit with who you are as a company.
Well, since you say that you bought the song from our site, then I guess it would have to.
Have you received complaints about artist name or Be Snitches from any of your customers?
I'm not sure. We may have.
So you're saying that you may have received complaints, but not enough to warrant pulling the song from your site?
I don't know if we've received any complaints, but if we have, they were not substantive enough to have made it to my desk.
If they had made it to your desk, would you have pulled the song, especially now that you have heard the lyrics?
Probably not. To be very honest, music like what we are discussing here is not my style at all. As I said, the graphic and vile nature is unsettling to me. I don't understand the appeal of a lot of the music today, but this may be more of a generation gap than anything else.
Generation gap?
Yes, when I was a kid, my parents thought the music I listened to on television and radio was awful. To me, it was the soundtrack of my youth. That may be what's going on today. At my age, I don't understand why anyone would find the lyrics you read to be appealing, But maybe I'm not supposed to.
So your parents didn't relate well to the music you used to listen to about shooting people in the head?
I'm not sure we had too much music about shooting people in the head back in those days. I just know that my parents didn't appreciate the things I listened to.
So you're saying that young people today must see some value in this type of music that grown-ups like you and I just don't see?
Exactly.
But didn't you assure me earlier that the only way you would sell this type of content is if it were restricted to adults? You said it was labeled explicit to keep it out of the hands of young people. Are you now saying that despite those labels, you understand the target of this content to be young people?
I cannot speak with certainty about the target audience for any particular artist, but I can say that regardless of what audience the music appeals to, we will not sell it to anyone under 18.
Because for anyone over 18, this content should be considered viable entertainment.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Now let me ask you another question. You've said you never heard this song before, but have you ever heard of artist's name?
The name is familiar to me, but I wouldn't say I know anything else about him.
Well, based on the content of the lyrics I read to you, do you have a guess about his race?
I would have no idea.
Well, let me read them to you again. The N was talking loud on the streets until I put two in his head. You better call them black and whites, 'cause this N's black and red. Will they make it here in time? No, that effort's dead. Now as a mom's a baby short, 'cause of what her beastnit said.
No, I can't.
Sorry.
Around there.
Can you guess now?
No, I can't say for sure what race he is based on those few lines.
But you do have a pretty good hunch that he's not white, right?
How do you figure?
Well, simple process of elimination. We know, of course, that there are white people that talk about killing talk and sing about killing black people. There's even an entire subgenre of white power music that talks about it in graphic detail. But I'm taking a guess that you don't have a lot of that music in your top 100, do you?
No.
And as you think in your mind about the music you sell, would you guess you sell more music by white artists that talk about killing black people or by black artists that talk about killing black people?
I don't like to guess.
You don't like to guess. Well, I have a guess. I'm guessing that there are far more black artists on your site that discuss violence towards other black people than white artists that talk about it.
If you say so.
I'll do you one better than that. I imagine that you carry far more black artists that talk in first person about violence towards other black folks than you do black artists that talk in first person about violence towards white folks. In fact, I've gone through much of your site, and I believe that you sell more black artists that talk about first person violence than any other race.
Are you implying that there aren't any white people involved in violence?
Of course not. A 5-minute look at the national news will tell you that. I'm simply saying that when I examine the content of when I examine the music you sell, I don't see the white artists presented equally to the black artists when it comes to first-person references to violence. Surely you know there are white groups singing that type of music. Are you selling all of it that you can find, or is it just not as readily available?
I'm sure you can find some of that style of music on our site somewhere.
I'm sure I can too, but not in the same quantity that you sell it as sung by black artists.
Well, perhaps there's a greater availability of that content by black artists than by white artists. Maybe even a greater interest. Have you considered that?
Actually, I have. I think about it quite a lot. Why do you think that would be?
I don't know, but in all fairness, I don't think that we should make sweeping judgments about music by any artist based on a few lines from one song.
How do you mean?
Well, I'm sure that on any album from today's music, you may find some line or other that may be considered controversial. But I think as a company, we try to evaluate the artists and music we sell from a big picture standpoint and not at such a granular level.
So you're saying that even though artist name Perform Be Snitches, those few lines don't disqualify the song from being sold on your site?
Yes, if artist's name is in our top 100, I can assure you that he has other popular songs that don't contain that type of content. I'm sure the vast majority of his work is positive and more suitable for a widespread audience.
Well, let me ask you this then. Let's pretend I was a singer with an album full of positive songs, but one song had a few lines that would be considered controversial. I want to read you some lyrics from a song that I wrote called The Smell of Your Lovin'. Tell me what you think. Girl, let's stop the pushing and the shoving. Let's start the kissing and the rubbing. Girl, I love the smell of your lovin' more than the smell of Jews in Hitler's ovens.
Oh, that's awful. I can tell you right now that we wouldn't sell that on our site.
Even if it was labeled explicit and only available for people over 18?
The age restriction wouldn't matter. We would view that content as hate speech.
What about Be Snitches? Is two in his head and all that effort's dead not considered hate speech? Is it love speech?